मॅडम लाईव्ह केलं YouTube लाईव्ह वरती.
Okay, shall I
You can
start,
start.
sir?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, you can.
okay, thank you. Thank you, Kadam, sir. Due to your technical support, today it is possible to conduct this lecture series. Thank you for your technical support and your technical team. A very good morning to all of you. On behalf of Sri Venkatesh Arts, Commerce and Science College, Durgaon Raja, I, Dr. Rupali Telgad, take this opportunity to welcome all delegate, guest of honors, and all the participants for the online lecture series, which is organized by Faculty of Science in collaboration with IQAC on the occasion of National Science Day. Sri Venkatesh Arts, Commerce and Science College is run by Sri Balaji Samsthan, Durgaon Raja, District Buldhana. Due to the continuous support and guidance of Hereditary Trustee, respected Honorable Raja Vijay Singh Ji Jadhav sir, our college made remarkable progress in terms of quality education, social work in the Durgaon Raja, infrastructure, providing facilities to college students, etc. Now, every year, Faculty of Science organizes various activities on the occasion of National Science Day. The activities are science exhibition, PowerPoint presentation, poster presentation, project demonstration, quiz competition, Rangoli competition, etc. In 2021, we organized a lecture series within this COVID pandemic on the occasion of National Science Day. Today is the third day of this online lecture series. For this guest lecture series, we have eminent speaker, respected Dr. Bharat Naik Navre sir, as a chief guest of today's lecture series for computer science. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce Honorable Bharat Naik Navre sir. Dr. Bharat sir is currently working as assistant professor in MGM University, Aurangabad. Sir has 8 years of teaching experience. Sir also handled MIS and ERP system of college. Sir also worked at Eton Private Limited for IT work. Now, sir has completed MPhil as well as a PhD degree in computer science. Sir, as a part-time research fellow of scheme was sponsored by Communication Government of India, Ministry of Electronics and IT, has published research at national. Sir developed e-content material for students. Now, thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation for today's guest lecture. I request Honorable Dr. Bharat sir to share his views regarding data with our.
Okay, madam. Thank you very much for introducing me. So I thanks all the technical supports, all the management trustees of the Balaji Samsthan College. So today I will speak regarding data science concepts on the occasion of National Science Day. So this is the very important thing. The college is organizing this thing online because many of the students, they are not coming to the college due to the global situation is happened in the COVID, like a COVID. So on this occasion, I am very much thankful to the college, all the staff members, all the trustees and all the support. Okay. So now we start to the our presentation related to data science. So before going to the presentation, we are just having the two parts of this presentation. The first part is what we mean by data, and the second part, how the science is correlate to the data concepts and how the industry or how the real life we are using combinedly for the concept of data science. Before starting to the presentation, so this is my outline of presentation. That is just where discuss this point key. We have the two parts of presentation. The first part is completely related to the understanding of data, and the second part, it is completely understanding of the concepts of data science and what happened right now in the industry or overall globe in the data science scenario. So the first outline of this presentation is the concept of data science. What are the different data types? How the data processing is done with the help of computer system. Then how to store and how to compile the data techniques and data. And later on, what are the top management tools that are basically used in the data processing or in the data working professionals. Later on, the concept of data trends. This is the part of data science. So big data is the term that are using inside the data science. So what are the different trends happens in the big data technologies? That are the 7 V's are there. Then later on, will be covered to the what are the application areas. Then what are the current industry requirement as a skill part, and later on where this skill is applied in the industry with the help of data science technology or data science concepts. So before going to the presentation, we had just thinking about 30 seconds. Okay, where data starts, where data initiated, where data is started. So when we are birth or any the thing is started, okay, the first question arises, the data is initialized. Okay, someone is birth, okay, the first question is what its name. So name is the data entity, okay, the identity, the meaning, where I am presenting myself or when I understanding another thing. So what is the understanding of that? The understanding is only the data, only the data. So we don't have the data, so we cannot understand many things. So the first case is very important when we are learn to the concept of data science and data related aspects of technologies. What do you mean by data, or what the exact concept of data? So what exactly mean of data in the very generalized form? This presentation is very generalized. It is not in the very complex form where I am not designing this way. It is very common terms because the many students are joining in different areas. So the first case is related to the data. What exactly mean of data? So just to discuss this scenario, okay, data is the set of characters that gathered, translated for the some purpose. It may be your aims, objectives, or requirements. Okay, we ask someone, "What's your name?" So this is my objective. I want the name of that particular person, or I want the information about that particular person. So this is my purpose. This is my requirement. And before taking the requirement, I need some prerequisite information on that requirement. So it may be gathered, and once the gathered thing, we are translated to the some objective conversation, or the requirement can fulfill this thing. So the first thing is important. What exactly mean of data? Data is the set of characters it gathered and then translated for the purposefully or for the requirement of our specific requirement understanding. Okay, so this is the requirement related to data. Second one, when the data is generated, what context is? Context means scene, context means requirement, context means purpose. So when we are preparing the data, when we are gathering the data, when we are translating the data, then who it process, what's the purpose, what is the reason when we are using. So the context, if data is put into some particular context or some particular scene, then the machine or human can understand. Otherwise machine doesn't understand, as well as human doesn't understand it. Okay, so the context means thing, okay, how the requirement can be fulfilled and how the human and computer can take a benefits from that context. So this is the very common term that are related to the data, or the data is basically called as a gathered thing. It may be raw or it may be requirement specific. Okay. So this is the concept of data. Then next one, what are the data types? How we can bifurcating different data when we are talking to in the society. Okay, we are every time not having the same data. We require the different data. Sometimes we are asking date of birth. So date of birth is the numerical data. Sometimes we are asking the name of person. So name is the character data. Sometimes we are asking for the banking transaction, 30.5 amount. So 30.5 amount is what? It is the floating data. Sometimes we are expecting to the pictorial information. Okay, so this is the graphical data. Sometimes we are sending audio and video clips. So this is the sound of graphical data. So these are the some common things. Data is always different. Data is always different. What your requirement? You want ask date of birth. So this is the numerical data, or it is the integer data. You want to sending your picture, you want to sending your photo. So this is your graphical data or pictorial data. Okay. The meaning is what? Our requirement, it creates the data type. Our requirement, it creates the data type. Basically, these are the some common data types that are character data, Boolean data. They are having the on, off, true, false, okay, open, close. This type of data is called as a Boolean data. Textual data, they are having the character or set of characters. We are using, for that, we are using the text as a type, data type. The numerical data, there we are using the number form. Pictorial data, audio data, video. Every data, it has the different characteristics. The data type, it individually defines its behavior and the type of data generation point. Okay, so these are the data types that are commonly used in the computer system. So this system can understand your computer or your system. So the next question in your mind, okay, we know the definition of data. We are gathering thing, we are translating the thing for specific requirement. The next point, we also cleared key. We have the data and its types: numerical data, string data, graphical data, audio data, video data. But how the system can process it, how the computer can understand it, how the system can be deliver the knowledge from for taking the inputs through the data, and it can be generated as a output. So this thing, it is represented with the help of the terminology related to computer definition. So how computer definition is works, how computer it exactly mean. So computer is the term, computer is the concept that you have to be understand the input initially. The input is the term that are taken in the form of a data. So before generation of data, the computer can work with hardware and softwares. So these are the interfacing techniques. When we provide the input, we always require the hardware and software techniques. If they are functioning okay, then we define the definition of computer. So in a common way, the definition of computer is, it is an electronic device. It takes as the input, process it, and prints the output. So when we are taking the input, we are always providing the data. Where we are providing the data? Towards the system. So system understand with the help of process. When the process is executed, the algorithms are working there. So algorithm is the technique that are step-by-step executions are happen, and then output it will be generated. Then this output, it may be informational thing, it may be knowledgeable thing, it may be insights from the data, and these insights, this information, this knowledge, we needs to store it. So this is the common definition, common conceptual concept of computer system. So we are taking the inputs, process it with the help of algorithms, printing the output with the help of output devices. The output devices, it may be generated the information, it may be generated knowledge, it may be generated insights. Actually, the information, knowledge, and insights is a part of output. Where this getting the output from the process is getting the input from data, and this all the things we needs to be stored in the memory unit of the computer system. So this is the common flow of data processing. with digital platform or with computer system. The next concept is how it will be stored. This is very important thing, because we are providing data, we are processing thing, we are printing the output, we are storing it, right? But how it will be stored? So system can understand your inputs in the form of the computer knowledge. It is represented in the binary form. Suppose we have the high level, we are understanding high level language. It may be C, C++ or Java. So the character set we know, but system can represent in different way or store in the different way in the memory unit. So suppose we have the one string, that is Sri Venkatesh College, Deolgaon Raja. So this is for human understanding. So this is for human understanding. So this understanding is converted to the computer system with the help of binary formation. With the help of binary formation. So binary formation and representation of data is the technique of computer. Is the technique of computer. And for that, in the computer system, the memory units are work. The memory units are work. So this is high level data that are processed by computer. When this computer is stored inside the memory with the help of memory unit, it is represented in the zeros and one form. This zeros and one is only understood by computer, and the human can understand in the high level programming language like this way. Sri Venkatesh College is the high level programming representation, and 0101 is the representation of the binary format, and this is for computer system. This is for computer system. So this is the storage formation in the computer architecture or in the computer scenario. So these are the some standard representations that memory can understand. This is the storage units. Why the storage units are required? Because when we are providing the input and we are getting the knowledge or information, so this information having the some storage representation inside the operating system or inside the memory unit. So memory unit can understand how this data is stored and what is the physical appearance of that or the physical storage of that. Okay. So basically the unit starts from bit, and currently the inventions are happening last 20 or 35 years. The initially data is stored in the bit form, later on it is stored in the nibble form, later on byte form, kilobytes, megabytes, gigabytes, terabytes, petabytes, hexabyte, zettabyte, and currently the data is stored in very huge form because the data users are increased day by day, and the data formation, the capacity of storage, it increases. Right now, the data, it may be stored in the form of the petabyte of data. So this petabyte of data, it has some memory large. If memory is very large, so it starts from 4 bits or the nibbles to the 10024 zettabytes. Okay, this zettabyte thing is having the very huge capacity of memory, and this capacity is representing the storage units. It's representing the storage unit. It starts from bits to petabyte. These are some different units, different memory units, and these units can be stored your data for different environment or different purposes. So this is the concept of your data storage measurements. Then in your mind, the question may be arises, sir, how these things are happening? Who is responsible to doing all those things? We already see the definition of computer. So computer is working with the help of compiler. Computer is working with the help of compiler. So what do you mean by compiler? The compiler is the technique that are understanding, this slide is important, that are understanding the high level programming language, and it converts into machine level programming language. It converts into machine level programming language. So this is high level programming instructions that can understand by human, and this instruction we needs to convert inside the system format or the low level. Low level means the language that are understand by system, the language that can understand by system. So who is doing this? The compiler concept is there. The compiler concept is there. From taking the input, from preparation of input to the preparation of output or the preparation of information, these are the different phases that are basically work on the computer system. The first important task, we are providing the high level language input with the help of high level language input towards to the machine code, towards to the machine code. The machine code is the low level language. The machine code is the 2 level language. So high level data is converted into machine level data. So in between that, these are the some technical aspect or the technical concept that can your system can work on that particular concept. The first thing, it may take the input with the help of small amount of data. So this is called as the lexical analyzer term. Your input, it should be in very systematic way. So for that, you are using the syntax and semantic terms are there. If your input and the semantical thing are okay, then it would be transferred to the intermediate code generated. Once the intermediate code is generated, then the code optimization terms are there. The concept of intermediate code generator is what? When the input is taken from lexical analyzer, syntax analyzer or semantic analyzer, then it prints as a intermediate thing that are required for the machine. That are required for the machine. For that, you are using the intermediate code generator. Once your code is generated, actually it is also called as a native code. So this native code is used for code optimizer. It required for code optimizer. Once the code optimizer is understanding the things that are technically correct, then the code is generated and this code is represented by the machine, or this code is understood by the machine. So this is the vice versa process actually. The first thing, we are sending input from lexical analyzer, syntax analyzer, intermediate code, code optimizer and code generator. The machine again replied back to the high level programming conversion. Means the high level programming language is converted into machine level programming language, and machine level programming language is converted into high level programming language. So this concept is called as a compiler. This concept is called as the compiler. Actually, these are the layers. It has a very huge concept. Technically, it is very vast, but it is parts of summarization of knowledge. We are just showing this diagram. So you can understand how the data is going from different pages and how the machine can interpret all those things, and it can be generated the machine understandable mode. So these are the things that are done by compiler inside the computer system. So this up to this part, the thing that we have tried to be understand the concept of data, what are the types of data generation, how the definition is fulfilling the input, process and output with the help of algorithm. Later on, how data is stored with the help of different memory units. Later on, how the compiler techniques are using for generation of data to printing of the output. And this is the middle slide actually. This is for that those data we are generated. So who is responsible for processing all those things? So these are the some common tools, or in the industry oriented tools. These industry oriented tools are using for data processing and data presentation. Those data are generated by computer. Those data are stored inside the computer. This data needs to be processed because we have a data and we are not creating the application of that data. So this data is not used for the human purpose or the some specific application purpose. So the thing we have to be data, and this data we have to be used with the help of some database tools. So these are the common tools that are used for different industries or in the some academics purpose. So SQLite, PostSQL, Amazon RDS, Microsoft SQL Server. So there is n number of tools are available in the market. So, but these are the some common tools that are specifically used for industry or specifically used for the academics purpose. So this is the part of your database management tools. Now we'll switch to the concept of data science. So data is we already discussed what exactly mean of data. Now what is the concept of science inside the data? So data is generated through the machine, and this machine or this generated data machines, we have to be used for the some applied purpose, for the some application specific purpose, some requirement specific purpose. But when you are converted data as a science, you have the very huge efforts for that. You have to take the very huge efforts for that, because this technique, it's not a very easy way. The generated data, it pulls for the different purpose. And when you are creating the application in that scenario, you have to work very hard. You have to work very hard. So what is the concept of data science? The definition is very simple. The data science is an interdisciplinary field that uses scientific methods processes, algorithms, and systems for extracting the knowledge or insights from the many structured and unstructured thing. For the many structured and unstructured thing. Before going to the why we are using data science, we are clear the two important points. The first case, what do you mean by interdisciplinary field, and what do you mean by structured and unstructured data. So the interdisciplinary field means what? Those data that are generated from different sources, and computer can help you out for processing the knowledge, for processing the insights. Okay, the interdisciplinary means other than one discipline, other than single discipline, the multiple disciplines can provide data, can generate data, and this generated data we have to be converted in the some meaningful form. In the some meaningful form, when the interdisciplinary data is generated, probably it may be from structural thing and it may be from unstructural thing. The structural thing means what? There is the some standard, there is the some in the form of like a rows and column. Your data is very structured. Is some data represented in the column and some data represented in the row. So these are the very structured thing. So in the case of unstructured thing is what? Your data is in the combination of multiple data, like a social media data. Suppose in the single post, we are putting as a image, we are putting as a links, we are putting as a audio clip, we are putting as a video, we are putting as a text, we are putting as a numbers. Okay. So in the single context of data, the different data are used. So this is called as unstructured data. And so this is the very challenging task when you are working as a data science professionals. Okay. In the structural thing, again, there are the challenges, but comparatively unstructured data, here is the very huge challenges, and this is the requirement of market, or this is the requirement of industry. They are having the very huge data that are generated from different platforms, and these data we needs to use for the some meaningful insights or some specific requirement. So this is the unstructured thing. Also, this thing is clear. Okay, what is the concept of data science? It is the interdisciplinary field. How it will be converted into the science? It may be using the some scientific methods, processes, algorithms, systems for extracting the knowledge, extracting the pattern, extracting the insights using structural as well as unstructured thing. And these are the things we are covered inside the data science scenario. So what's new in the data science? Because we already have the some number of sciences. It is already basic science, applied science, engineering science. So what is the specialty of data science? So right now, just we have discussed point about it is the interdisciplinary area. It is the interdisciplinary area. No any area is without data. No any area is without data. You are just thinking 30 seconds in your mind. In which area the data is not generated? Your answer is false. Your answer is incorrect. The every field is generating the different types of data, and this different type of data we have to be processed. We have to be work on that data, and we are created some meaningful insights from that. So that's why we require the data science. Why we require the data science? We have to be find out the some meaningful things. We have the large number of data, and this large number of data we needs to use the some meaningful requirement or the meaningful pattern of that particular data. So right now, the data is the fuel of digital world. Just this thing is very important because no any area is without data. So everyone wants to the sophisticated form of data, meaningful data. They have the large amount of data, but they are not using at all. They wants to the some data science techniques needs to be applied, and they wants to the very meaningful information from that. So that's why the generally it is called like the data is the fuel of digital world. So data is, we already said it is the interdisciplinary area. In number of areas, the data are generated. Cutting edge technology. The concept of cutting edge technology is what? It is the recent technology that are used for the providing the effective solutions, providing the effective decision making solutions. So that's why we are called as a cutting edge technology. Then it is used again for the predictive analytics, that what happens in the next 2 years, what happens in the next 2 months, what happens in the next 2 seconds. So everything we needs to be predict. For that, we require the data prediction or the predictive analytics we are used. So this is the part of your data science thing. There is a very huge requirement huge demand in the data science industry for skilled persons, skilled or the trained persons. So this is very huge requirement for career opportunities or the career aspect. Huge requirement from worldwide industry. No any industry is without data. So every industry wants the skilled person or the data science professionals. Very high paid career opportunities in that particular area. You have the very basic skill in the analytics, mathematics, statistics, or the analytic power is very good. So you have the very good opportunity in that particular area. So high paid career options are there. What exactly data science do? It can make the product is very smarter. The data is very smarter. The data is the same, but this data is represented in the very effective manner. So for that, we need to use the data science concepts or the data science terms. So this is about the definition of data science and what are the or why we are using the data science in the different aspects. So this is the case. The next is very important thing. The data is generated in the interdisciplinary areas. The data is generated from interdisciplinary areas and the data is very huge. It is not a very small amount of data is generated. You just think about you are using Facebook, WhatsApp, Telegram or any social application. There is a millions of people, they are sharing their thoughts in the different platforms. Okay. So you just thinking okay, how the large amount of data is created in the 1 second, 2 seconds, 1 hour, 2 hour, 12 hours, 24 hours. So the capacity is very huge. The data generation is very huge. So this concept we are converted in the concept of the big data technologies. This concept we are converted into the big data technology. So what exactly mean of big data? What is the behavioral properties of big data? So behavioral properties means what? How the big data is prepared. So big data is prepared with the help of 7 V's. With the help of 7 V's. What are the 7 V's? The first V is volume. The concept of volume means what? The name itself represents the volume means size. The volume means size, means how much size of data we have. So this representing the volume or the capacity or the size of data we have. Then second V is velocity. How much speed is used for generation of the process. How much speed, suppose you are using the social media data. In the next 1 hour, it may be your data, it from 1 GB, in the after 1 hour, it may be 10 GB, it may be 5 GB, it may be any unit of memory storage, but it is the velocity is very high. The speed of data is very high, and this speed we needs to maintain for processing. This speed we needs to be processing, and this processing, it may be accessible to everyone. This processing, it may be accessible to everyone. So this is the second V, that is velocity. Then third V, it is related to variety. Variety means, of course, it having the different types of data, and this different type of data, it may be unstructured. Just we already discussed in the concept of unstructured data. Your unstructured data having the different variety of data. In the single message you are framing, in that single message framing, you are representing the textual information, you are representing numerical information, you are representing floating information, you are representing graphical information, also you are representing audio or video representation. Okay, so this is the variety of data. So this is the variety of data. Then variability. So concept of variability is what? The meaning is constantly changing. It can have the very huge requirement from your data, like a share market data. That is variability is very important because the constantly the meaning is changing. Suppose one share right now it is 1 rupee, and the same share it may be in the next 2 hours it may be changing its value, changing its meaning. So it is called as a variability of data. So veracity. The concept of veracity is how to make sure your data is accurate, because in the unstructured data or in the big data we have the very large amount of data, but we need a correct data, we need a accurate data, we need a correctness of that data. So veracity is important. So when we are making the data, what about the surety of that, how the data is accurate, how the data is correct, how the data is meaningful. So this is veracity. And the next is very important, that are required for the end users. They don't know many things in the technically, they want to everything in the visualized form. They want everyone for the visualize. Visualize means what? The requirement of user, how the user can satisfy your requirement. Like suppose you want to see the some statistical analysis. Okay, in that particular suppose share market, you can see the graphs. If the shares is up, shares is down. So you are just understanding the graphical presentation. We are not understanding what happened behind the screen. Okay, so how the things are easily managed, how the thing is easily represented on the end user's requirement, and we are convey the meaningful insights from that visualization. We are converting the meaningful insights from that visualization technique. So this visualization technique, it specifically used for to find out the insights, to find out the meaningful representation, and that can understand by graphically or in the chart form or in the representative form. So this understanding, it may be end user, it may be end user's requirement. So this is the concept of visualization. And last one is very, very important. The reason is what? If your requirement XYZ and you are getting the same requirement with the help of value, So this is the 7th V. If you want sure about your data, then you can match your requirement. If you are providing this type of requirement, and then we will be getting the correct requirement. So how will be understanding it? We will be understanding it with the help of value. So these are these 7 V's that are collectively used inside the big data technologies, And here your data science is work. Here your data science technologies or the data science techniques you are applied for different environment. That is volume, velocity, variety, variability, veracity, visualization, value. So every phase of data, it requires the different technical aspect for working properly. So for that, you are using volume, velocity, variety, variability, veracity, visualization, and value. So these are the techniques. These are the meaning. The big data can changing behavior. The big data can preparing all those things, and the data scientists or data professionals can work on that particular data. So the important question in your mind is, sir, where we are applying all those things? What are the scope of that thing? What are the industries they can be using this data science technology or the data technologies? So just we already discussed that no any industry is requirement of a data. Every industry is having the requirement. It may be healthcare, it may be travel, it may be education, it may be telecom, it may be e-commerce, media and entertainment. Right now you can see the medias, how the media is changing. Everything is changed in the media sector. In the retail, like e-commerce sites, we are just visiting the single on Amazon. We just click one time. The number of notifications coming from Amazon. When you are clicking on the Flipkart, once you are click and search the something, the number of times the same thing recommendations can see on your screen, or you can getting the different messages. So it cannot be done by manually. It can be done with the help of some data science technologies are applied there, and these things are converted interest to profit. Suppose we are just finding the one shoes on the website, shopping website, Amazon. Just we are visiting single time and we are exit from that website. So in the next 2, 3, 4 days, you are definitely getting the different notifications from Amazon, and you will be prepared for that. Okay, you are interested for that particular product. So why you are not purchasing this? So we are providing the offers, we are providing the age related some aspect that you want. So this thing is automatically done by the system, or the automatically done by the computer technologies or the data science technologies. And this data science technology, it can be converted in the form of decision making purpose. It can be converted into the decision making purpose. So these are the some application areas. It is not limited to only this. There is a huge area of application. There are having the big data applications or the data science applications are used. And this application, it may be used for the different purposes. It may be understanding of profit, it may be understanding of loss, it may be understanding the customer interest, it may be understanding the why customer is interested for this particular product, when we are applying the offers, when we are not applying the offers. Okay, so there is a n number of decision parameters are there, but still we need to work on that particular area, and then we'll prepare the data for some meaningful format. So these are the some application areas that you are using. Then the next question in your mind is, so we want to learn the data science concept. So what we are exactly learn? What right now industry requires? What type of professionals or what type of technical person industry wants? So these are the some buzzwords, or these are the some current data science technologies that are preferably using in the industry. In the case of artificial intelligence, there is a huge amount of scope. You can, means everyone wants to the artificial do by machine. Okay, no one wants to do the manual thing. So how it will be done? It will be done with the help of artificial intelligence or the technique, or artificial intelligence is the concept. This is the very recent requirement of every industry. Very recent requirement of every industry. Okay. Then recommendation systems. Again, it is very important. The reason, the data, we have the data and we are providing the recommendation for the end users. So we can using the recommendation systems for that. So actually these are the very technical aspect. We are just put it here for summative form or for the your knowledge purpose. Okay, these are the technologies or these are the things you should know about. You should know about, or you try to be learn out this thing and you make an employable. You make an employable in the working of the digital world. Okay, so these are the technique or these are the industry requirement. That is data mining techniques are there, data visualization, machine learning. Right now it is very uh, recent requirement of every industry. Machine learning, neural networks, deep learning, natural language processing, cognitive computing, statistical and probability scientist. Okay, these are the, also this is when you want to learn the data science concept, you should know about the statistical, mathematical and probabilitical thing, because this is the base of your data science. Okay, so how we will be working on the data manipulations, what are the software life cycles or software engineering and testings are there. Social media analytics, this is the very interesting and very large requirement of everyone, basically for political persons. Social media analytics, how the people are thinking, how the people are saying one particular, suppose the Modi government is launching any particular scheme. So they can take the opinions from social media of the peoples and they are reacting on that basically. Okay, so social media analytics is the very important. Then big data analysis, the Hadoop techniques or the Hadoop framework are used for big data, how to storage, how to execute all those things. Then business intelligence. The business intelligence means the every businessman wants this thing. Okay, how the my business is improved in the case of profit, in the case of selling a product, in the case of suggestions from customer. So for that, they are using the business intelligence system or the business intelligence concept. Then data analysis overall, like a GIS data, remote sensing data, image processing data, natural language processing data. So the data analysis is the another term. You have to analyze everything with the help of data, and you are preparing the some insights from that. And this insight, it may be very useful for taking the perfect decision. So Python tool, Tableau, these are the some tools or the programming languages that are using in the data science industry. Google Analytics is the another term that are used for different purposes. The Google Analytics is the Google tool. What we are searching and the many things what the persons can do on the Google. So everything it tracked through the Google Analytics, and TensorFlow, it is the one of the tool that are using in the data science purpose or the data science application execution purpose. So these are the some buzzwords or these are the some technologies or the learning concept you have to be learned as a student age, and you make your career very brightly. So these are the industry requirement right now, and it is a part of data science or the concept of data science. So I have the one link I will be sharing in your YouTube chat. So this is the very interesting video. When we are purchasing the Amazon, we are purchasing the any product from Amazon. So how Amazon is working on recommendation system. Once we are clicking anywhere, how the all the data are captured from user from different sources. Your mail ID, your phone, your age, your interest, your class, everything. They are uh, taking the source of data and they are recommend you many things through the different technologies. So this YouTube link will be sharing you. So you just see this thing later on. So where the scope we have, the every industry just we had discussed. The software and hardware are the very biggest industry for data science. Science and technology everywhere, finance, retail, telecom, healthcare, pharmacy, manufacturing areas, automotive, manufacturing, cyber security, energy, utilities, medical and pharma. So these are the areas, these are the application areas. So you have to be use this technology. You have to be use this technology, and you can apply your knowledge. You can apply your knowledge with the help of these technologies. Or you learn this technology, then you will be definitely get the very good job in that particular area or in that particular industry. Okay. So these are the some areas, or these are the some concepts you can apply on that particular industry. Suppose in the case of software and hardware, how the data science is important, how the data science is working. Basically, the data is generated from the interfacing between hardware and software. The every hardware and software, the converted data, it needs to be processed. It needs to be processed. And when we are processing this data, the software, it may be use the machine learning technique, it may be using Python application, it may be using the recommendation concept. So your software is working like a human. Your software is working like a human. So like a chatbot. Everyone knows on the every website, standard website, you are just finding the, your interest. The automatically they are showing the many things. So this is the artificial thing. Na? These are the artificial thing. Your software is working like a human. Your software is working like a requirement of understanding the requirement of end user, and they are immediately replied. They are immediately replied you. So your software is like working like a human. So means your software and hardware having the huge requirement. Science and technology. The science and technology means your basic science as well as your applied science, or as a technological aspect. Everywhere you are using the data science concepts. For the requirement of end user or the requirement of application is different, but you will be provide this thing with inside the science and technology. In the case of finance, how the financial things you will be managed, how the financial concept it will be preparing, how the government is planning all those things. So they are taking the different agencies of data, and they are preparing the model for that. They are preparing the model for that. Okay, what are the sources? We have the income. What are the sources? We have the loss. So how will be preparing the budget of India? So this is the financial analysis. So they are taking the different data from different agencies, apply the algorithms, apply the techniques, and these techniques, it may be helpful for taking the decision. How, in which area we needs to invest the thing. We needs to plan out the budget. We needs to plan out the financial thing, okay, or the infrastructural thing. We needs to be applied. In the retail, everywhere we are going to the malls. Okay, everything is atomized. Everything is atomized from when you are entering in the mall and when you are exiting from mall. The bill system, the product system, product analysis, the designing of product. When we are putting the product, it may be improve the sale. When we are not putting the product, this all the thing, it is the part of retail analysis. It is the part of retail analysis. So retail industry having the very huge scope. Then telecom industry. The telecom industry. Suppose the customer having the basic mobiles, and some another customer having the multimedia mobile. So they are getting the different recharge messages. Those customer having the without multimedia mobile, it may be getting the up to the 100 rupees of recharge. And the customer having the multimedia mobile, it may be getting the above 500 rupees of recharge messages. It may be, it includes the data as well as voice calling. The scenario is different. Means this is the telecom industry. They can analyze all those things. They are taking the different data and they are working on that to improve the sales, to improve the productivity, to improve the smarter product. So this is the telecom industry. They can using for this way. Healthcare and pharmacy. This is very related to the human day by day. Healthcare analysis or the pharmacy analysis. When we are putting the iPhone or the any digital watch in your hand, okay. So automatically everything is tracked. What is your pulse rate? What is your breathing speed? How much speed you are covered? How much speed is remaining? Okay, means everything is automatically tracked. So this is healthcare analysis or the healthcare purpose. Manufacturing, right now manufacturing is the area, everything is atomized. Mostly the most things are atomized. They are using the some robotics techniques, artificial intelligence techniques. Means those operation are very complicated. Those operation means production related. So when you want to design any product and you want to accomplish this product, so the operation is very critical. So your robot can do this. Means no human can interaction is there. The automatically robotics or the robotics related technologies are working there in the manufacturing areas. Automotive, again, it is a part of manufacturing. So automotive area using the data science term for different purpose. Then the cyber security. This is very uh, largely the issue is offers for different issues related to fraud detection, related to analysis of stolen of the profile, stolen of the data. So this is the issue related to cyber security. Okay. So how the data is generated and how the security is improved on the basis of your previous knowledge, previous analysis of data, how the data security is improved, like a banking system. Your banking system is very core banking. Okay. So how this security is improved? So they are taking the different analysis, data analysis, and they are trying to be build out the very good security in the banking sector. Energy and utilities, again, this is important in the area of energy. How like a mining, okay? How the in what scenario the mining we can do? So this is the part we can use in the energy. The prediction of solar energy. In the some we are investing some specific area, 1 acre or 2 acre. How much energy will be predicted from that 1 acre or 2 acre areas? Okay, so this is the energy related component. So we have to use the for energy and utilities and medical and pharma. In the medical area, there is you want to do the very complicated surgery. Okay, so the some small robotics or the robotics technique you can be apply there. So this is the technique that are using for the medical analysis or the medical purpose. So these are the different areas. So you can think very broadly, try to make what type of data is generated and how the data is very useful for the end user's requirement. So this is the basic understanding of every data science professional, and on the basis of that, the different data scientists or different aspects are working on that particular area, and they are generating the scope on that particular area. Now, in the case of designations or positions in the data science, basically the three categories are work in that particular area. The first one, data scientist. The second one, data analysis, and third one, data engineers. Okay. These are the very high paying designations. With the help of that, there is a n number of opportunities available under that. Suppose you are the data engineer, so machine learning engineer, data framework engineer, data understanding engineer, data execution engineer. So all those things, it is related to the data engineer. Data analysis, you have having the very huge requirement for taking the data, processing the data, analyzing the data, visualizing the data, and prediction of the thing. Means these are the some common designations of the very high paying capacity designation, that is data engineer, data scientist, and data analysis. Under that, the numerous form of designations are there, but it depends on the industry. It depends on the industry. On the basis of industry, you have to create your own scope and try to make the career in that particular area. So this is about the data science is the next future for every industry, for the every industry. So we'll be stop here. If anyone having the questions, so you can freely ask. So I'll be trying to give the answer.
The participants, if you have any questions, please send through the chat box. It is my kind request to you, to all the participants, if they are having any questions, please send through chat box. It is my kind request to the participant, if they have any questions, please send through the chat box.
madam.
Sir, one student is having the question ki, in cyber security, how the data science is used.
Okay, madam. In the cyber security, you want to find out the frauds. You want to find out the frauds like a credit card fraud, debit card fraud, or banking related fraud. Okay, so it is a part of cyber security. So it is a part of cyber security. You can find out the where the person is trying to be pinning inside the system, and system can analyze okay the regular transaction are happen, so this thing is disturbing to the regular activity, so you can immediately track out the things, and you are finding out the where the things are having the some miscommunication or the mis things are happening. We are easily detecting all those things.
Okay, thank you, sir. Again, one student is having the question ki, how to apply as a data scientist. Now, what is process? Is there any specified course to become the data scientist?
Okay, very good question. So if you want to work on the field of data science, there are different colleges that run the different degree programs, but these are the some new field. The many colleges don't have this type of program. So in the big cities, this course, these degree programs are offered. So in the Aurangabad, we have the program that is BSc in data science as well as MSc in data science. In the Pune region, there are having also some colleges. They are having the course or program of that, or the degree program of that. Once you are completed 2 years, 3 years or 2 years PG program, then you will be getting the opportunity in the work in the area of data scientist, data engineer, data analysis, machine learning engineers. Okay. But you should have to be completed your minimum 3 years degree. And once this degree is completed, on the basis of your knowledge or your knowledge set, you will be definitely getting job inside the industry.
Sir, one student is having question regarding which softwares are used to implement this data science or data analytics.
Okay, so again important question. How, because many times we have the data, but what are the applications or what are the tools we have to be processed? So I think everybody knows the Excel. Excel is again the wonderful tool for working the data science. But beyond this, you have to be work very high level data analysis. For that, you are using the Python, you are using R, you are using Tableau, you are using TensorFlow, you are using Julia, you are using Go. So these are the some programming languages or tools you can use it for the data analysis or data working purpose. And this is very high requirement in the industry. You have the Python programmer. So every industry wants this type of program. So you can think on that, how the data is processed and how the programmatically we are converted for this some specific requirement. Okay, so these are the some tools you can use for data purpose, data analysis purpose.
Thank you very much, sir. I think there is no questions in the chat box. Thank you. Now, thank you, sir, for enlightening our student with the knowledge of data science. Sir, explain various applications of big data. The applications are like healthcare, travel, finance, education, retail, telecommunication, media, entertainment, and e-commerce. These are the various applications where we are using the data science. There is a various industry requirement, and the students are having job opportunities in the area of social media analysis, Hadoop, big data, business intelligence, data analysis, Python, R language, machine learning, and cyber security, etc. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
I request to Saroj sir for propose the vote of thanks. Thank you, sir. Saroj sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, one and all. I am Rambhavan Saroj, Assistant Professor, Department of Zoology. It gives me an immense pleasure to deliver out of thanks for this event. Dignitaries assemble here. It's my prime duty to thank our hereditary trustee of Balaji Sansthan and President Raje Vijayji Zadov sir, Devulga Raja, for their inspiration and continuous support. I would like to thank our today's chief guest and dynamic personality, Dr. Bharat Naik Navre sir, who spared time from his busy schedule to grace this webinar with this extremely relevant address on data science. I would like to thank our beloved principal, staff member, student, participants for making this webinar as a grand success. I am very much thankful to coordinator of this session, Dr. Rupali Telgad madam, for organizing this program. Last but not least, I express my heartfelt thanks to technical team who made this event successful. Dr. Kadam sir, Birade sir, Pawar sir, thank you sir, thank you so much.
So thank you from my side. Thank you very much all the team members.
Thank you, sir. Again, I'll express my gratitude towards our technical team, head of the department chemistry, Dr. Kadam sir, as well as Saroj sir, uh, Professor Pawar sir, with the again Professor Birhade sir. With their efforts, it is possible to conduct today's session. Again, 3rd March is also celebrated as a World Wild Day, World Life Day, where we'll take the resolution that we will save the wild animals today. It was declared by United Nations that the 3rd March it is celebrated as a wildlife day. Thank you one and all for attending the session. Now you are having the next session that is related to chemistry. So please don't leave. I'll hand over the session to the chemistry department. Thank you one and all.
Thank you everybody. So I'll be leave from meeting.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes. You can continue.
Yes. May I continue, sir?
Yes, yes, you can continue.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Very good afternoon to one and all. I am Mr. Balasaheb Kale. Extend you a very warm welcome on behalf of Sri Venkatesh Arts, Commerce and Science College, Deolgaon Raja, who has gathered all of us for the guest lecture on Art of Writing Reasonable Mechanism on the occasion of National Science Day, organized by Department of Chemistry in collaboration with IQAC. Due to the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, education sector is badly affected. So taking into consideration the need of the time, the Faculty of Science has organized an online guest lecture series under the departments botany, chemistry, microbiology, zoology, physics, mathematics, and computer science to enhance and share the knowledge among the students in the field of higher education. So, on this occasion, I welcome today's guest, Honorable Dr. Hemant Kumar Chandak sir, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Chemistry, GS College, Khamgaon, and I request sir to please join this session as a speaker. Thank you, sir. Again, welcome all the delegates, dignitaries, and students who have joined this program. Thank you once again. To proceed to this online guest lecture, I would like to request Mr. PM Kadam sir to introduce the today's speaker, Honorable Dr. Hemant Kumar Chandak sir.
Thank you, Kale sir. I'm audible.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. So, good afternoon, all my dear students. So, in this lecture series of organized by Faculty of Science. Today is the lecture of chemistry. So, Honorable Raja Vijay Singh Jadhav, Hereditary Trustee, Sri Balaji Sansthan, and President of Sri Venkatesh College, Devulgaraja. Honorable Dr. Sudhir Chavan sir, IQAC coordinator of our college, my colleagues, and my dear students. I am pleased to welcome you to this lecture series on the occasion of National Science Day organized by Faculty of Science and IQAC. Friends, it's a great pleasure for me to introduce our speaker of today's lecture. He is a man of virtue and simplicity. Now, I would like to introduce the speaker of today's online lecture, Dr. Hemant Kumar Chandak sir, who is going to deliver a lecture on art of writing reasonable mechanism. So this is one of the important topic for the chemistry students who are learning the organic chemistry. Friends, our speaker has made a powerful contribution to the field of research, mainly to the organic chemistry. And so, this is a most interesting topic, and we are learning from one of the master in the organic chemistry. So, friends, I welcome our speaker uh, Hemant Hemant Kumar Chandak sir. He is working as head department of chemistry, GS College, Khamga. Sir completed his MSc. One. So there is some so he completed his MSc from Amravati University, Amravati in 1998. He completed his PhD from again Amravati University in 2003. Sir has completed his postdoctoral in Rutgers University, NJ, USA. Sir has qualified CSIR UGC NET twice. He has also qualified SET, GATE, and ICAR NET. Sir has the teaching experience of UG 20 years and PG 10 years. Sir has awarded with the UGC Raman Fellowship for postdoctoral research in USA for 12 months. He is a recognized PhD supervised guide of Sant Gadgibaba Amravati University, and under his able guidance, 4 students has awarded PhD and one is working on. Sir has published 2 books in by the reputed publishers. One of the publisher is Lambert Academic Publishing, Germany. Sir has also published more than 36 research papers in reputed international journals with having the high impact factors. Sir has also published research papers in the various national and international conference proceedings. Sir has the total citations of their research is 262 with H index 10 and I index 10. Sir also has received a research grants of total 54.5 lakhs rupees for the various major and minor research projects. Sir is a member of Board of Studies in Chemistry of Sant Gadge Baba Amravati University, Amravati. He has delivered invited talks in various national level seminar and conference, and I am happy to announce that he has also delivered one of the keynote speaker in our college national conference also. Sir is a coordinator of IQAC in his college, and under his skillful guidance and skillful leadership, the college has got a grade by the NAC, and this is the first college which got A grade in Buldana district. And at present, he is mentoring 10 colleges for NAC. He is also a member of lead college in IQAC cluster India. So today, friends, we are getting a lot of knowledge from and such an eminent person who is a master in organic chemistry. And first of all, what I say that he is a research oriented, because you can observe here he has a lots of research guidance. He has completed his postdoc from the USA, and the citation and the impact factor of research paper is very high. So friends, so I welcome such a multi-talented personality, Dr. Hemant Kumar Chandak sir for today's lecture.
Yeah. Thank you, Kadam sir. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Allow me to share my screen.
Sir,
Yes,
1 minute.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kadam sir. Let's move towards the online lecture to know more about the reaction mechanism in the area of organic chemistry. So today we have such an great and intellectual personality among us to share some knowledge regarding the organic chemistry. So we have a great opportunity to hear Dr. Hemant Kumar Chandak sir. So now I request Dr. Hemant Kumar Chandak sir to deliver his lecture on art of writing reasonable mechanism.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Kai sir and Kadam sir, for introducing me, for the kind words of introduction. I hope the slide is visible and I am perfectly audible.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Well, without wasting any moment, let me come to the topic. At the outset, I must thank you for giving me an opportunity to present myself in the form of this short presentation that I will be covering related to the writing organic reaction mechanism. Why I chosen this particular topic? The reason is I know the students, I know the teachers, they completed their masters, they completed their PhD, they are having experience of teaching, experience of more than 10, 20 years, but still they find difficulty in writing a reasonable mechanism. So if we can focus our attention on writing the reasonable mechanism of an organic reaction, definitely we can understand the organic reaction well and organic chemistry well in a nutshell, and we can understand how this organic chemistry can be interesting, because and this lecture is dedicated to the students who really want to do something and contribute in the area of an organic chemistry. So I thank organizers, all of you, and let me start with the presentation straight away. So this is the title of my talk that I will be dealing with. Just a moment. Let me choose a pointer, laser pointer, so that I can focus on the things. One more important thing is this is a topic which is to be better taught on a blackboard with the chalk. I mean, this will be a real challenge for me to teach the organic chemistry with the help of a presentation. But I will try my level best to convey the message that I want to share with you people related to writing the reaction mechanism. And I have used a very fancy title of my talk, The Art of Writing Reasonable Organic Reaction Mechanism. Normally, you will not find any book on this particular topic. So it's usually a compilation of a huge amount of effort that I did and I do deliver to my students at my college. So this will be the contents of my talk. We will see what chemical reactions are. We will have a different perspective altogether. We'll not mug up the reaction like reactant, reagent, product, and the byproduct, and the condition, the temperature. We'll not do that. We will have a different perspective. We'll try to look at the different functional groups, their classification, and the common abbreviations which are used in the reaction while writing the reaction. So one common example is when you write benzyl group, it's not always possible to draw the benzene ring and the CH2 group. So better way you can write a BN as a short form for that. So you should know what are the different short forms that are commonly used while writing the reaction and their mechanism. Then we'll have to look at the next content would be the formal charge on the atom. We'll try to find out the formal charge is something that is not visible on the reaction. When you see the reactant, you are not able to see the formal charge. But there is a formal charge on the atom, and that can be helpful in deciding what sort of mechanism the reaction will follow. We will also have a look at resonance and resonating structure and one more phenomena called hyperconjugation. Then how the concept of acid and base can be useful in understanding the reaction mechanism. Thereafter, we'll see what are the different sorts of electrophile and nucleophilic reagents that are available, and what are the general principles of writing the reaction mechanism. And we'll try to see the mechanism. If time permit, we'll see some mechanism in some acidic and basic medium. So if you attend this talk very seriously, at the end of this lecture, you will be able to write a reasonable mechanism. You will get familiarize yourself with the classes and the types of the organic compound. You will understand the types of the cleavages and the reagent. You will understand how effectively you can use arrow while writing the reaction mechanism, and you can also draw the mechanism for the reaction that you have never seen before. So even if some surprising reaction comes before you and someone asks you to write down the mechanism, you will be definitely able to do this if you attend this particular talk very seriously. So with these brief introductory note, let me start. So the first point first is, what is a chemical reaction? There is a typos here. The arrow has moved forward. So in general, a chemical reaction is represented like this. You know that reactants and the reagent, under certain condition, we allowed them to react with each other, and you get a byproducts and the byproducts. Sometimes I have used S in the bracket because there can be one reactant, there can be many reactants. The same is applicable for all other things. What happens actually, in a nutshell, you will notice that the reaction is essentially accompanied by redistribution of electrons. So essentially, in all reactions, in all chemical reactions, what happens? Bond breaking and bond making takes place. So bond is essentially a pair of electrons. So what is happening? You are essentially redistributing the electron from one bond to another bond. It means, let's say a simple example of A plus B, sorry, compound AB in when it is reacted with C, you get AC. So bond is there between AB in the reactant, and the bond is now transformed between A and C in the product. This is how you can understand that it is only the redistribution of electrons. So while writing the reaction mechanism, one has to focus one's attention on the electrons in the reactant and electrons in the product, especially the electrons that are a part of a bond. And what is organic reaction mechanism? The reaction mechanism is a detailed description of these steps. Sometimes the reaction can happen stepwise, and sometimes it can happen in a single step. So there are two types of reaction mechanism. One of them is called a concerted mechanism. Concerted means where the bond breaking and making takes place simultaneously. And one of the common example that you know is an SN2 reaction. And otherwise, in some reaction, bond breaking takes place and then bond making takes place, or vice versa. First bond making and then bond breaking takes place. So the reaction mechanism can be either concerted or can be stepwise. But the important thing is, you need to understand which will be the first step, which will be the second step. The answer to this question you will get when you follow the further discussion that we are going to make in today's talk. So the second thing that we want to learn in today's talk, or that I will try to cover in the today's talk, will be the classification of the molecule. So you know, in organic chemistry, you came across alkane, alkene, alkyne, alkyl halide, alcohol, ether, aldehyde, ketone, and blah, blah, blah. The thing is, these functional groups can be categorized on the level of oxidation level. For example, you look at the bottom, here you see alkane, which are at the lowest oxidation level. So it is referred as oxidation level 0. And when you functionalize alkane by replacing one of the H by group, some electronegative atom containing group like OH, OR, Cl, Br, you are shifting to the next oxidation level. So it is the oxidation level of alcohol. When again, if you do further substitution, for example, you replaced one hydrogen by Cl. If you replace two hydrogen by Cl, you get dichloromethane. So dichloromethane and the related oxygen analog will be at the level 2. There are another class of the compound that are at the level 2. What these are? These are essentially obtained by the loss of hydrogen molecule from it. So if you remove two hydrogen out of it, you will get C double bond over here. So this is at the second oxidation level. Aldehyde, ketone, acetals, dichloromethane, these are at the second oxidation level. Now again, if you do further oxidation, like say if you treat it with, if you replace it by 3 hydrogens in the methane by halogen, so trichloromethane or chloroform, it will be at the next oxidation level, that is third oxidation level. Again, you can have the compound like acid chloride, nitrile, amide, carboxylic acid and all its derivative, and the nitrile will constitute the oxidation level 3. Now, how to get this? You can get it by adding one oxygen to this level 2. So if you add oxygen to say aldehyde, so you can find out the difference between these two compounds. there is one additional oxygen here. So this is an example of an carboxylic acid. The corresponding analog of ketone would be ester. So this will be the oxidation level 3. And the last oxidation level, or the highest oxidation level, is the one where you have replaced all the 4 hydrogens of the alkane by methane by halogen or something like that. So CCl4 and the carbon dioxide, these are at the highest level of oxidation. So you might have studied different functional groups in organic chemistry, but the classification of the functional group based on the oxidation level gives, if you classify them on the basis of the oxidation level, definitely it is going to help you in understanding the various organic transformation. Because why I am telling this? Because see, there are certain transitions, there are certain reactions that happens at the same oxidation level. Say alcohol converted into alkyl halide. So this is an example of a reaction at the same oxidation level. Alcohol getting converted into aldehyde. This is an example where you have, I mean, there is a horizontal as well as vertical mobility among these functional group. If you understand the classification of the functional group, you will be able to identify whether the reaction is oxidation or reduction, or it is at the same level. There is no change in the oxidation level of the functional group. So this is one point that one has to keep in mind while looking at the functional group. So moving forward, these are actually the same table. The same table has been given here. So that it is needless to mention, write it again and again. Only thing is, have a focus that at the first oxidation level you have alkene, at the second oxidation level you have alkyne as well, which was missing in the earlier slide. Okay. Now, and this is again a simple way, 0 bond to heteroatom, 1 bond to heteroatom, 2 bond to heteroatom, 3 bond to heteroatom, and 4 bond to heteroatom. So double bond is considered as if the C double bond O is considered as if 2 oxygen are bonded to the carbon by a single bond. Okay. So now this is about the functional group, just introduction, because I cannot talk much about the functional group. That will be a separate lecture altogether. Now moving forward, while writing the mechanism, you often came across the use of symbol. So what is the use of the symbol? You see, whenever methyl group is there, the abbreviation Me is used. So these are common abbreviation like methyl, ethyl, propyl. Then isopropyl, you have to write I. You have to prefix the propyl group by I, and I should be italic. So while writing the mechanism, many people do not understand how to write N-butyl, how to write isobutyl, how to write secondary butyl, how to write tertiary butyl. So what is the correct method? You have to prefix it with the letter like I, S, or T, and it should be italic actually. All these prefixes are always written in italic fashion. Make sure that you are writing this way. So these are the few examples of your alkyl group with a branch chain, because you know that in alkanes, higher alkanes, you are always, there is always a possibility to get N, iso, and tertiary alkyl groups, right? Then when you have a benzene ring as a substituent, benzene ring as a substituent means you have a benzene ring in which one of the hydrogen is attached to some other group. So when benzene ring as a substituent, what is the prefix that you use? It is essentially a phenyl substituent, and it is replaced by PR. And for aryl, actually, you can use all in general. If you have a different aromatic groups, then you can call it as an aryl. General, just like alkyl, when you have an aromatic ring like phenyl, pyridinyl, or naphthyl, or anthracinyl, you can label it as like aryl group. Similarly, acyl, AC, acetyl. Acetyl is written, AC is a abbreviation used for acetyl group. Again, an interesting part, benzoyl and benzyl. Benzoyl is represented by BZ, whereas benzene is represented by BN. Many teacher or many student cannot understand what are the correct abbreviation for this particular group. Then these are the special group like tosyl, mesyl, triflyl. These are essentially the sulfonates. So paratolulyl sulfonyl chloride is referred as tosyl group. Methane sulfonyl is referred as mesyl group. Trifluoromethane sulfonyl is referred as triflyl group. Okay. In addition to these are some of the examples of the different functional groups and their abbreviation. Okay. So what we have seen so far? We have seen the organic reactions are essentially redistribution of electron, and we have to find out the proper sequence of bond breaking and bond making. Then we have seen that functional group, knowledge of functional group is very essential because the reaction can take place within the same oxidation level or can occur between the different oxidation level. Then we have seen very, very important aspect that what are the different abbreviations for the organic substructures which are present in the molecule. Right now, let us move forward and see what is a formal charge. Formal charge are essentially a very important tool in understanding the organic reaction mechanism. And it is a tool to ensure that electrons are not gained or lost during the course of a reaction. So we can calculate a formal charge by using a simple formula. Don't bother, we will consider one example and we'll try to understand. So what is a formal charge? Formal charge is essentially the valence electron in the element minus number of pi and sigma bond minus number of unshared valence electron. So let us have an example of this molecule. Say this is dimethyl sulfoxide molecule. So what is the formal charge on sulfur and oxygen we want to calculate? The formal charge on the sulfur and oxygen is here 0, here 0, here again 0, because it looks a neutral molecule. But you know that oxygen is more electronegative. And how you can calculate the formal charge? Formal charge can be calculated. Number of valence electron in sulfur is 6. The number of bonds sulfur has formed are 4, 2 pi bond and 2 sigma bond means 4. And there is a pair of electron on the sulfur atom, so minus 2. On the contrary, when you write its resonating structure, you get a positive charge on sulfur and negative charge on the oxygen. In that case, when you try to find out the formal charge, then you can find out that there is a +1 charge on the sulfur and -1 charge on the oxygen. So formal charge is actually, you can calculate the formal charge in this compound like Al, N, Br and C. You can find out the formal charge in on these atoms in this molecule. You can practice this at home. And formal charge are not reliable to the chemical reactivity, because what do people do actually? Based on the formal charge, people start commenting that this will be more reactive, this will be less reactive, this will be more stable, this will be less stable. But this is not true. Formal charge is just a tool to know where your reagents or where your electrophile or nucleophile will go. But it will not give you any information whether which will be more reactive, which will be less reactive. For example, I have a question like say CH3 positive and NH4 positive. Which one is more stable? If some random question is asked to you that CH3 positive and NH4 positive, which is more stable? What will be your answer? In fact, many people are through YouTube live, so I cannot understand, but you can write your answer in the chat box so that I could see it later and understand how my lecture is going. However, I'll give you the answer. You write it in the chat box, and by the time I will give you the answer also. Okay. So the point is, CH3 positive, how many electrons are there on the carbon? Carbon is bonded to three hydrogen atom, means 3 pi bond, means how many electrons? 6 electrons. On the contrary, in nitrogen, you have 4 bonds. So NH4 positive has got 8 electrons, whereas this is a 6 electron system. So eventually this will be a system. This will be a cation with a octet completed, so will be more stable. So this is how you have to look at whenever the problem comes to you, you have to use all your logic and all your rationale to give the answer. This is how chemistry progresses, and your understanding about the chemistry also progresses. Okay, so let us move forward. Now we will also try to cover one more important aspect in writing the reaction mechanism, and that is about the resonating structures. So resonating structures, for example, you know benzene can be written by 2 canonical forms, and these 2 canonical forms are neither of them are complete in explaining all the reactivity. So you have to take the help of a resonance hybrid, right? However, while writing the mechanism, you have to take one of the canonical form to write the mechanism, because in mechanism you have to use the arrows and you have to show the movement of electrons in it. One more example I will cite is diazomethane. CH2N2 is commonly called as diazomethane. So diazomethane can exhibit these 2 resonating structures. with a negative charge on the carbon and positive charge on the nitrogen, and similarly negative charge on the nitrogen and a negative charge on the terminal nitrogen and a positive charge on the middle. So which structure is more important? Which structure is more important? You can answer it based on in fact, this is a structure which will be having the less charge separation, right? Because nitrogen can accommodate more amount of negative charge on it. In both the structures, you have got a positive charge on the nitrogen, but nitrogen can accommodate, being more electronegative, it can accommodate the negative charge more as compared to that of carbon, right? So while writing the mechanism, you have to take the help of both these structures and you have to explain the structures, explain the reaction mechanism and the reactivity of the group. One more important parameter that one should keep in mind is the electronegativity of the atom. Electronegativity will tell you that the order of electronegativity, you know, in the main group element means S and P block element, you have increase in electronegativity from left to right. So in fact, you can understand that F, O, N, and you have not C earlier, it should be C only. There is a typos here, it should be C only. So carbon is less electronegative than nitrogen, and that is why this structure will contribute more to the resonance hybrid than this one. Okay. Now, what are the types of resonance structure? So the first is look at the electron deficient atom adjacent to the pi bond. So this is a structure where you have a pi bond and you have a positive charge adjacent to it. If such a case is there, I mean, your double bond and the charge is separated by one single bond. In this case, what will happen? This pi bond will delocalize in this direction. So this electron will shift in this direction, making this carbon negative. Negative positive will generate double bond and the positive charge will migrate on this carbon. Second is you can look at the radical. Just like a positive charge, you can look for the radical. Similarly, you can look for the negative charge or you can look for the lone pair. In all this structure, what will happen? You will get a delocalization. And delocalization plays a major role in stabilizing the different intermediates. And if you can stabilize the intermediate, you can direct the reaction pathway in that particular direction. So reaction always, keep this in mind, that reaction always proceeds in a direction to give the more stable intermediate. So the pathway that will give you more stable intermediate will be preferably followed by the reaction mechanism pathway. Okay. Then in aromatic compound, pi bond can move across and you can get a different sorts of the structure as we see in case of benzene, naphthalene, anthracene and others. Sometimes what happens, the two electrons of a pi bond can be divided evenly or unevenly between the atoms, making up that bond. For example, you can cleave this C double bond O in a heterolytic fashion, like negative charge on the oxygen and positive charge on the carbon. Similarly, you can do a homolytic cleavage under certain condition to give O dot and C dot. This kind of diradicals are commonly observed in the photochemical reactions. Okay. Now, you can draw a reasonable resonating structures of the following. Now, there are certain rules for drawing a reasonable resonating structures. For that matter, you can have a look at any fundamental book on organic chemistry by Claydon or by Morrison Boyd or by Carey or by Solomon. You will find the general rules to draw the resonating structure, and you can practice these 4 examples. Again, you can draw the resonating structures of these 4 compound which is being written on the slide. You can take it down in your notebook and you can try practicing writing the resonating structures of this compound. Okay. There's one more phenomena which is helpful in delocalization, and that is called as hyperconjugation. Hyperconjugation usually involves the alpha CH bond interacting with the vacant orbital. So it is usually observed in case of carbocation and free radical, wherein the vacant orbital interacts, the lobes of the vacant orbital, they are not exactly parallel to the alpha CH bond, but they can interact somehow at certain angle, making that interaction feasible. So you can have an interaction between the pi bond, vacant orbital on the carbon, which is usually a p orbital that undergoes interaction with the alpha CH bond, which is usually formed by overlapping of sp3 and s orbital, sp3 orbital of carbon and s orbital of the hydrogen. So more the number of alpha hydrogens adjacent to a carbocation or a free radical, there is a possibility that more number of hyperconjugative structures you can get. One more thing which I forgot to tell you is, look at the arrows here. There will be a special slide related to arrow, but whenever you write a resonating structure, you have to show two double-headed arrows on either side of the line. So full arrows are there on either side. So that is a resonating arrow, resonance arrow. Well, so with this backdrop, what we have seen so far, we are moving to the next point, and that is understanding the acidity and basicity in the reaction. Now, you know, what we have seen so far, we have seen that what a reaction is. Then we have seen what are the different functional groups, what are their abbreviations, what is the formal charge, and we have seen what is resonance and what is hyperconjugation, and how these phenomena can be helpful in writing the mechanism. We will collect all this data and we will write down the mechanism of few reactions in the coming slides. But before that, we have to input our rationale with one more important point, and that is related to the acidity and basicity. The one who understands acidity, basicity, nucleophilicity, electrophilicity will be able to write the reaction mechanism of any reaction he came across. Okay, so let me talk you something about the acids and bases. You know that there are 4 or 5 different theories, but the most commonly accepted theories are Arrhenius theory, which we commonly use, and especially for the organic chemist, 3 theories are very, very important. Arrhenius one, where acid gives a proton in aqueous medium, then base gives OH minus in the aqueous medium. Laurie-Bronsted, wherein a proton donor is the acid and proton acceptor is a base. And the third one, which is again equally important, is the Lewis acid-base theory, wherein electron pair acceptor is the acid and electron pair donor is a base. So what are the parameters? In Arrhenius, H plus and OH minus are the parameter. In Laurie-Bronsted, H plus donor and H plus acceptor are the parameter. In Lewis theory, electron pair acceptor and electron pair donor are the parameters in deciding whether a particular compound will be acid or base. Okay, so now you see one interesting fact that I will share with you people is, when you dissolve HCl gas, HCl is essentially, what is the natural state of HCl? The natural state of HCl is a gas. Whatever the HCl we use in our lab, we call it as a concentrated acid. It is hardly 10% by weight. It is hardly 10% by weight. So, or roughly it's 10 normal. So, HCl essentially is a gas, and HCl gas, when it undergoes ionization, because according to the Arrhenius or according to the Laurie-Bronsted theory, a proton donor is an acid. So HCl gas will find it very, very difficult to give H plus, means ionization of HCl in gaseous phase will be a very, very difficult phenomena, because it has got a free energy change of plus 1347 kilojoule. Plus means the reaction, you know, in thermodynamics, there is one important parameter that will tell you about the spontaneity of a reaction. Spontaneity means whether a particular reaction will take place or not can be explained on the basis of thermodynamic parameters. And one of the important parameter is free energy change. So a process that is accompanied with a decrease in free energy will be a spontaneous one. And the process in which the free energy increases will be a non-spontaneous. So spontaneous processes will take place at its own, but for non-spontaneous processes, you have to carry out this reaction. You have to do so many things like increasing temperature, increasing pressure, and so on and so forth. So what was the point that I was trying to point out? HCl in gaseous phase is very difficult to ionize, whereas when you put it in the aqueous phase, when you put HCl in a gaseous phase, its ionization takes place very easily. And why this is so? Because the free energy of ionization of HCl in aqueous medium is minus 40 kilojoule per mole, in contrast to plus 1347 kilojoule per mole. So this process of ionization of HCl becomes facile when you dissolve HCl gas in water. Why this happens? This is one of the reasons for this is the hydration energy. I mean, when the hydrogen gas is being put in water, what will happen? it will decrease the free energy, because you are getting the you have to overcome this value of plus 1347. इसको रफली हम लोग 1340 पकड़ेंगे, तो 1300 किलो जूल पर मोल की एनर्जी को इसमें ओवरकम करना है. दैट कैन बी डन बाय अ सिंपल प्रोसेस कॉल्ड हाइड्रेशन, एंड दैट इज व्हाई वाटर इज अ वेरी मैजिकल सॉल्वेंट normally referred as, because the things which are not possible in gaseous phase can be easily done in an aqueous phase. And the mother nature is also utilizing the same phenomena. You see, what is the solvent of the nature? It's water. All living things, they have their metabolism going through the water, because water is a magical thing and you can do so many things through an aqueous medium, right? So this is just an very, very important aspect that one has to look at while looking at the water. Okay, so this was just one point. Now we are trying to understand which proton will be more acidic in a particular compound, because in organic chemistry, we often see the structure, and looking at the structure, you should be able to tell, say, let us say a molecule of acetic acid is there. In acetic acid, there are two types of proton. One is CH3 proton and other one is OH proton. Now the question left will be, which proton will be more acidic? It's an OH proton or it's an CH3 proton? So the answer to these questions can be given can be very well understood if you understand the concept of pKa and the concept of acidity and basicity. So there is a common saying that, acid will give H plus. If you write down that equilibrium, that HCl giving H plus and Cl minus, the equilibrium constant of this particular equilibrium, Ka, how to write the equilibrium constant? You might be knowing it. Concentration of products upon concentration of reactant. So you will write concentration of H plus upon concentration of unionized acid. So this particular Ka is an important parameter to find out whether, to find out the strength of an acid. Higher the Ka, stronger is the acid. And it's not, and Ka is usually in terms of 10 to the power 5, 10 to the power minus 5, 10 to the power minus 15, likewise. So it is often necessary to convert it into a simple scale. And that simple scale is because of the Sorensen, who has given the PS scale. And based on this analogy of this PS scale, there is one term called pKa. So pKa is a common term that is being used to assess the strength of the acid. How to quantify? अगर एक scale दिया और scale के ऊपर हमको बोला कि इसमें से कौन सा लंबा है, कौन सा छोटा है. So we will not use the scale that will have something like something into 10 to the power minus 5, something into 10 to the power minus 10, isn't it? So we want a scale that is very simple in measurement, that is easy to follow, and that scale is of pKa scale. What is pKa? pKa is essentially negative log of Ka. pKa is essentially negative log of Ka. So whatever the Ka, higher the Ka, lower the pKa. Lower the pKa, higher the Ka. So pKa and Ka are exactly inversely opposite, inversely proportional to each other. And pKa is a scale that is used to tell you about the acids and bases. So pKa, lower pKa means stronger the acid, higher pKa means weaker the acid. So you can consider that, and if you want to consider the strength of the different acid, then what should be the approach? Just now, before few minutes before, I asked you the question: which proton will be acidic in acetic acid, CH3 proton or OH proton? So for that matter, what you need to understand, you need to look at its conjugate base. Conjugate base is something, thanks to the Laurie and Bronsted, that they have given us a wonderful theory to understand the concept of acids and bases. Acid, when loses a proton, is converted into whatever is left. For example, HCl. HCl will give up proton. What is left? Cl minus. So Cl minus is the conjugate base of HCl. Acetic acid. You know, the conjugate base of acetic acid would be CH3COOH will give you CH3COO minus. CH3COO minus will be a conjugate base of acetic acid. Okay. So you can see that acidity increases as we descend vertical down the group. For example, hydrides of halogen. These are all the hydrides of halogen. HF, HCl, HBr, and HI. Look at their pKa. HCl is having a pKa of -7. HF is 3.2. HBr is -9, and HI is -10. So which is the lowest value? minus 10 is the lowest. So which is the strongest acid? HI is the strongest. Why? Why this is so? It depends upon the basic stability of the conjugate base. So conjugate base in these cases would be I minus, Br minus, Cl minus, and F minus. So the most stable conjugate base will be I minus, because I can accommodate a lone negative charge very effectively as compared to bromine and chlorine and fluorine. Okay. So one thumb rule that I would like to give through my presentation, if you can keep this in mind, whenever you want to identify the strength of different acids, what you have to look at? You have to look at the stability of the conjugate base. Use your concept of inductive effect, hyperconjugation, resonance, and whatnot to explain the stability of relative stability of the intermediate, conjugate base. The same thing happens in case of the hydrides of oxygen family. Like in oxygen family, you have oxygen, sulfur, and selenium. So the order of acidity is, you know, H2O, H2S, and H2SC. So my friends, you might have used H2S, and you know H2S is a weak acid, but water is relatively less weakly acidic. This can be again explained on the basis of the ability of the conjugate base to stabilize the negative charge. Right? Similarly, acidity increases from left to right when we compare the compounds in the same horizontal row. For example, you know, in the periodic table, electronegativity increases from carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and fluorine. The same way, if you compare the pK of the hydrogens attached to the carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and fluorine, their pK will be in the range. Like if you compare the acidity of a proton which is attached to an carbon in an alkane, it is roughly around 50. In case of ammonia, it is about 40. In case of water, it is about 16. Whereas in case of HF, it becomes 3.2. Isn't it? So what happens? You go on increasing the electronegativity, and their hydrides, they will show the miracle, just like what we have seen in case of the groups also. Okay. Now, yet another interesting point that we have to think of. Few pKs are to be learned on the fingertips. So one of the pK value that we have seen is of HF. HF is having the pK of 3.4 and HI is having the pK of -10. Okay. Now let us learn. If you can remember few pK values, organic chemistry becomes very easier. So like you understand, now you see the hydrocarbons, three class of hydrocarbon. So ethyne, ethene, and ethane. What is the difference? The difference is of hybridization. sp3 hybridized carbon bonded to hydrogen, sp2 hybridized carbon bonded to hydrogen, sp hybridized carbon bonded to hydrogen. And their pKa changes altogether. You see, the pK is in the range of 25, 45, and 50. So roughly, these are the values that you can keep in mind. So alkyne pK is 25, alkene pK is 45, and alkane pK is 50. And in higher alkane, it goes to 60 also. Right? Now, again, you see in case of acetic acid and alcohol. So acetic acid and alcohol, they're all carboxylic acids, they have the pK in the range of 5, and alcohol have the pK in the range of 15. So 4.75 and 16, these are close to 5 and 15 respectively. So this is again one more point that you can keep in your mind, that pK of carboxylic acid is around 5. Rather, I would give you one simple rule to understand. Carboxylic acid 5, phenol, which are weaker acids 10, and alcohol 15. 5, 10, 15. 5, 10, 15. This is how you can keep this in mind. Carboxylic acid, phenol, and alcohol. 5, 10, 15. Okay. Now, this is what I have explained, that what happens, like here you see acetic acid can act as a, again, it depends upon the medium that you are using. Acetic acid when treated with ammonia can give you ammonium ion and acetate ion. It means that acetic acid is giving the proton to ammonia. So what is the acid in this pair, in this reaction? Acetic acid is acid and ammonia is base. On the contrary, when you dissolve acetic acid and HCl, Acetic acid will take a proton from HCl and will act as a base, because according to the Lorentz theory, proton acceptor is a base. So acetic acid, even though the name has acid in it, it can act as a base in presence of a stronger acid. So one more broader picture that one has to keep in mind is acid and base is a relative term. So some acid can act as a base when some stronger acid stronger than it comes in contact with each other. The common example, you know, the mechanism of nitration of benzene, where you see that nitric acid, even though it is an acid, and when you add H2SO4 to it, what happens? H2SO4 act as an acid and HNO3 acts as a base in that reaction. So it's a very relative term. Try to understand this important concept. And also there is also in case of amino acids, you know, in amino acids, you know, you have NH2 and COH group. So this is a common question which is asked. What is an acidic group in amino acid and what is a basic group in particular amino acid? So you have to look at the relative acidity and relative basicity. So in this particular amino acid case, amino acid will not exist in a neutral state, rather it will be in a zwitterionic state. Zwitterion means the ions containing the cation and the anion both in it, they are called as zwitterion. So what is the actual acidic site in the amino acid? The actual acidic site in the amino acid is NH3 positive, and what is the basic site? It is COO minus. Okay, this is a question commonly asked in the JAM-like examination. Now, same thing happens with the base, right? Base, they can give up electron pair according to the Lewis theory. So in organic chemistry, you normally came across either across Bronsted bases or across Lewis bases. Lewis bases are those that gives up the electron. So alcohol, you know, oxygen has got lone pair of electron. It can give to the strong acid to form alkoxyalconium ion and a weak base. Okay, because the conjugate acid base pair are such that strong acid always has a weak base pair, conjugate base pair. Strong acid always leads to the formation of a weak base. Now, why I am showing you these acids and bases? So you understand that during the many organic reactions, say you have a reaction of an ethylene with HBr. You have a reaction of ethylene with HBr. HBr is an acid, isn't it? So ethylene will act as a base, and here the pi bond will act as a source of electron. Not only lone pair, but pi bond will act as a source of electron. And you look at the arrow, these pi bonds will be donated to the proton. These electrons of the pi bond will be donated to the proton, resulting in the formation of a new CH bond and a carbocation as an intermediate. And this constitutes a step 1 of your electrophilic addition mechanism. So electrophilic addition in alkene, you study Markovnikov's, anti-Markovnikov's rule, isn't it? In all those reactions, you will find a similar kind of the thing there. So that reaction can also be cited as an acid-base reaction. Fine. So if you understand the nature of acid and bases, you will be definitely understand, because why I have given the title of the talk, Art of Writing Reasonable Mechanism, because see, if I ask you randomly a question that during the reaction of an ethylene and HBr, which species attacks first? Is it H plus or is it Br minus? कौन अटैक करेगा पहले? Write it in chat box. If you have ethylene and HBr to react in a vessel, which will react first? Ethylene and H plus or ethylene and Br minus? So I hope you have written it in the, because I'm not able to monitor it. I hope you have written it. So if you understand that, you will be able to answer which will be the step 1 in the process, in the mechanism. Okay. So have a look at these reactions in the terms of acids and bases. There is one more effect called solvent leveling effect, which is also very, very important in understanding the acids and bases. Why this is so? See, the strongest base in the aqueous medium is OH minus. सबसे अगर strongest base अगर कोई होगा aqueous medium में तो वो कौन है? OH minus. And the strongest acid in the aqueous medium is H3O positive. Now, अगर मतलब इसका मतलब क्या है? And hydroxide can reach up to pKa of 16. यानी ऐसा प्रोटॉन जिसका pKa 16 से कम है वही प्रोटॉन को हाइड्रोक्साइड आयन निकाल सकता है. Now in organic chemistry you see a proton which are which are having the pKa well above 16, sometimes 20, 25, like acetylenic proton. Acetylenic proton is having a pKa of 25. Now in any case, if you use hydroxide ion and you put any amount of pressure, any temperature, you will not be able to take away this proton with the help of hydroxide ion, because hydroxide में उतनी ताकत नहीं है कि वो H plus को यहाँ से निकाल सके, ये H plus को. Otherwise, hydroxide is a very good base, but it can take the proton which are having the pKa less than 16. अगर 16 से ऊपर का pKa रहेगा तो ये काम नहीं करेगा. In that case, what will happen? In that case, you have you can take any reaction. Commonly हमको ये याद रखना पड़ता है कि हमको ये रखना कि please help me.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Your audio is not
Yes,
clear,
sir.
हाँ, clear है ना सर?
हाँ, yes sir.
हाँ सर.
Now it is clear.
Of the online system, you never know what is going on.
Okay sir.
Delivering the talk and
you may continue, sir.
So what I was talking about, कि want to take away this proton. You cannot take away this proton in aqueous medium. You have to use solvent leveling effect. Okay. You can take the proton of alcohol which is having a pKa around 15. Carboxylic acid, phenol, alcohol. You can take away this proton with the help of hydride. The proton of 25 with the help of some much tests like take these protons. And what is important that whenever whenever the base takes up the proton, it's important. And if you want to get a understanding, I will not talk much about this. You can just search Evans pKa table, EVAN, Evans pKa table in the Google, and you will find out, you will be able to compare the right. So just one example, how you can just so this H is having the pKa 4.8 is nearly, which was of this that will not change the electronics much as compared to acid. Proton जो alpha hydrogen है ester में having the pKa of 25. Again look back, this OH 5 and this 25, isn't it? So it clearly indicates that which proton will be more acidic as compared to the CH proton. You may ask me the questions. This and students from BSc second year might be understanding reactive methylene compound. So this reactive methylene compound, this CH becomes you check the pK of acetone is roughly 80 down to 9. So which one is more acidic? Obviously the is what are called as reactive methylene compound. Okay. So my humble request, have a look at this Evans pK table and try to develop your own rationale and the reaction mechanism. One example, then I have to move forward. Someone asked you to write the mechanism of aldol condensation. Many people means those who are teaching on 30 years, they also commit the same mistake. So I don't want to comment about the student. Happens because they do not understand. Just now I told you that this is a proton with this proton is having a pK of 25 alpha hydrogen, whereas this enolate is having a pK of 18. How can you explain that a base, because aldol minus is a very good base for the aldol condensation. That remains unanswered is how a base of AB16 can take up. If this question one cannot okay, consider it as an homework. Probably you will get the answer. Sorry. Yeah. Now, reagent. Let me take a break. Now you know there inverse nucleophilic and electrophilic. Okay, means having affinity for nucleus. So nucleophiles are usually electron rich species, either or having form of a lone pair. Electrophiles are electron deficient and can have a cation. Has an affinity for because you know the concept of electrophile and okay. Now, how can you use this concept to write the mechanism part? See, when you form a BF3 and ether complex, the example of an incomplete means electron pair that it can take from any electron pair containing compound. For that matter, say ether in this case. So this ether will be given to the boron atom and you will get it complex. Sometimes this carbon, it can act as an electrophilic center. This OH minus BNS is leaving. So it's not a positively charged species. However, under the influence of attacking reagent, there are some good living group in organic chemistry that one should. Then iodine is also good living group. N2 is a good living group. So living group, the loss of nitrogen it can act as an electrophile. This is an example of a neutral molecule. This is an example of a carbocation. Example of a bonded to electron deficient group. Now this double bond can have an attack of a nucleophile, right? Similarly, you see the type lower.
Sir, sorry for this, but your sound is breaking. Voice.
What happened?
Sound is breaking, sir. Not continuous. We are not getting the continuous voice. Some words are missing in between.
Oh, voice is not coming.
Yes.
Hello.
Now it's breaking in between. Some words are missing. Yes.
This is not clear.
Okay.
And some connectivity problem, I think.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. It looks like. Just hold on.
Yes.
Is it okay now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Now it is clear.
The internet connection was unstable. That is why you are not able to. Okay. By this time I have 50. Because it looks like there is some issue with the connect. So these are some of the examples. We know here is pi bond can act as a bond and pi bond can exert a. These are the examples of electrophile and nucleophile in the reaction. The next point, the mechanism of the reaction in the basic, medium, and acid. So for that matter, I will use the example of hydrolysis of ester. In this mechanism. So what will happen when you treat ester with, so you are treating methyl ester with an ethoxide ion. Then what will be the mechanism? In basic condition, attack on the carbonyl carbon because it is a nucleophile and it will act as a electrophilic carbon. So this will open up and you will end up getting this kind of tetrahedral. It uses the in this mechanism R2 means H3OH positive because you do not acid present here. By changing the attack on the carbonyl carbon. Now, oxygen will attack on the protonation of this carbon. Now this super lone pair easily a bond between these, which then to form the tetrahedral intermediate. Now, what is the incorrect mechanism? Like if you want this mechanism, what are taking, it cannot attack here. Why it cannot attack here? Because if it attacks even if it attacks here, you will intermediate this kind, and this kind of intermediate oxygen and negative charge on this oxygen. It's O minus. There will be a not exist. Why? Because while drawing the structure, make sure a good base and a good acid. pKa 17, and this is a good acid with pKa 0. So you cannot draw mechanism. This is the key in writing the correct mechanism, that you cannot draw a structure which has got good acid and good base, both structural fragment in it. So we should keep free H plus and free should right. Now, what are the different ways in which reaction is represented? The first reaction here, solvent is, you may find there are different types of representation of the reaction. Solvent is represented over a moment. Yeah, solvent is written over arrow. And one more step, that is aqueous workup, is omitted. And third one, gaseous उसको omit कर दिया. इसमें कैटलिस्ट और सॉल्वेंट, इसमें एक किया, ये स्टेप कंप्लीट होने के बाद दूसरी कंप्लीट किया. So this is again a way to write the reaction. To be सभी सही है. Okay. Now, balancing the reaction. This is an important point that we will cover. There are two important aspects while considering balancing the reaction, because writing the correct mechanism always always needs the knowledge of balancing the reaction. So balancing the atom and the balance the charge. These are the two. And acid. What will happen? The proton will go to the lone pair of electron on the oxygen atom. Because of this, what will happen? Acetaldehyde. Now, if you consider the charge, side +1, here also that species isn't it? And balance the different reactions. Much point which is very, very important. Writing the arrows is very, very important. A half-headed arrow or not like headed arrow, curly arrow, it represents a complete head. It represents a complete shift of electron from one end to another end. These are some of the arrows which are used. This is an arrow which is commonly used called irreversible arrow. This is an arrow with a cross mark. That reaction will not proceed forward and backward reaction. One arrow behind the reaction with more than one step. Reversible arrow. Because forward arrow is longer than the reverse arrow, and this might be new to you. This might be new to you. Before that, I will see an arrow and you put a and that is reference that indicates that the reaction proceeds with inversion of configuration. Usually SN2 reaction. Okay. Across. The arrow writing is your always point from arrow should always point from electrophilic attack on oxygen. O. You have to show it from O to like N to E. So arrow always goes to the reaction site. For example, this is the hydrogen to get a neutral molecule. Show an attack of HBr. This is step 1 in the electrophilic attack. Now electrophilic positively charged. It can be neutral or positive. Sometimes it can be and make sure that while writing this resonating structure, make sure that you are not exceeding the or duplet should not exceed while writing the structure. Let us practice this. Now molecular nitrogen for the generation of carbocation from melamine, you subject it to diazotization, you get this. And when you do its homolysis, the bond cleavage will take place like this. The bond will open up and you get the homolysis. How the arrow will show? From Br to positive charge, isn't it? So some of the exercise that you can practice at home. I think I am done. Many things to cover. I tried my level best to deliver the things. If you enjoyed my cover so many things. However, it would have been much more interesting. It would be more interesting to deliver black. However, I have tried my level best and much an opportunity to talk. Over to you. Yes, Kadam sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Is there any question from audience? If you have any question, then you can ask. Question from participants.
Student have one question, that is how to remember the mechanism of reactions.
Huh?
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Sir, one question is there. How to remember reaction mechanism? Hello.
With connectivity at my end.
Sir. Student
Repeat your
have
question.
asked one question, sir. One question is there in
Yeah,
chat box.
please. Uh-huh.
How to remember reaction mechanism?
Uh,
Hello. 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 Am I audible, sir? Chandak, sir.
Think they have some connectivity problem.
Maybe
We
I.
are not getting their voice.
Hello.
Yeah, but still,
Yes, sir. Your bandwidth is showing.
but still you can.
Voice is not clear, sir. It is cracking, sir.
Sir, shall we go for further forward? So we'll conclude this program.
Sir, shall we conclude this program, sir? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Shall we conclude this program, sir? Your voice is not clear, sir. Hello. 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 Sir, shall we conclude this program, sir? Hello.
Hello.
Sir.
Yes, sir. Now we are getting you.
Hello. Hello.
I think we will conclude our program. We are not getting the connectivity.
So may I continue, sir?
Yes, sir. Proceed. Yes, you can.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your enlightening and insightful talk and the valuable information you have shared with us. And I am sure that it will definitely help us in our future. Thank you. Thank you once again. At last, I would like to call Dr. D.R. Birade, sir, to propose our top thanks of this program.
Thank you, sir. Can you listen me?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So good afternoon to all on this third day of online lecture series on the occasion of National Science Day, organized by Science Faculty and IQAC of Sri Venkatesh Arts and Commerce College, Devurgaon Raja. I would like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude and propose vote of thanks on this occasion. I would like to propose my most sincere thanks to Dr. H.S. Sandak sir, Head Department of Chemistry, GS College, Khamgaon, for their informative speech and making this webinar meaningful. Thank you, sir. Further, I would like to thank Dr. Sudhir Chavan sir, Head Department of English and Accuracy Coordinator. I would like to propose healthy vote of thanks to all the delegates, teachers, and students who have joined this webinar through different parts of the country to grace this webinar. Thank you to all. Last but not least, I express my special thanks to head, chemistry department, organizing committee, and all the teaching and non-teaching staff for their support. Thank you. I also thanks to the Kale sir, Telgad madam, and Kadam sir for their support and work. So at last, with due permission of principal, I hereby declare that this webinar is over.